Today, I'd like to introduce you to a very special sauce in my country called nước mắm or Vietnamese fish sauce, because this is one of the most important ingredients in Vietnamese cuisine and daily life. If you spend some time in Vietnam, you will quickly notice that fish sauce is everywhere. Vietnamese people use it almost every day, from home-cooked meals to street food. And in many families, a bottle of fish sauce is always on a dining table, almost like a basic part of everyday meal. And in fact, many Vietnamese people feel that a meal can taste a bit incomplete without fish sauce. Fish sauce actually has a very long history in Vietnam, especially in coastal areas, where fishing communities developed this method to preserve fish hundreds of years ago. Before refrigerators existed, fermented fish with salt was an effective way to store seafood for a long time while still keeping a rich flavor. And over time, this preservation method slowly became an important part of Vietnamese cuisine. Traditionally, fish sauce is made from small fish, usually anchovies, mixed with salt and fermented in large wooden barrels for many months, sometimes more than a year. And during the fermentation process, the fish naturally break down and release liquid, creating that deep salty flavor and strong aroma. And the first extract, often called first pressed fish sauce, is usually considered the highest quality because the flavor is richer and more concentrated. For many foreigners, the smell can feel quite intense at first. Some people are even surprised for the first time they try it. But after eating Vietnamese food for a while, many visitors start to understand why fish sauce is so important. It doesn't just make food salty, it has depth and balance, which is that savory taste and makes food feel more flavorful and satisfying. And another interesting thing is the eating habit around fish sauce in Vietnam. You know, Vietnamese meals are usually shared meals, where everyone eats together and dips food into a common bowl of sauce placed in the middle of the table. So fish sauce is not only about flavor, but also part of social side of eating. It creates a feeling of sharing and connection during meals. And depending on the region, fish sauce can taste quite different. In the South, people often prefer a sweeter dipping sauce, while in central Vietnam, the flavor can be saltier and stronger. Fish sauce is also mixed in many ways with garlic, chili, sugar, lime juice, or vinegar to much different dishes. For example, the dipping sauce for spring rolls is different from the one used for seafood or grilled meats. Fish sauce is also closely connected to coastal culture. Places like Phú Quốc or Phan Thiết are famous for producing traditional fish sauce, and many local families there have been doing this craft for generations. And in some places, making fish sauce is not only a business, but also part of the local identity and tradition. And another special point is that fish sauce reflects Vietnam's connection to wet rice culture and simple everyday cooking. Vietnamese food usually tries to balance different flavors: salty, sweet, sour, and spicy. And fish sauce often helps bring all those flavors together. So, if you ever have a chance to visit Vietnam, make sure to try dishes with fish sauce, even if the smell feels quite unusual at first, because once you get used to it, you will start to understand why Vietnamese people love it so much. And through something as simple as fish sauce, you can also understand more about Vietnamese culture, family meals, and the way people connect through food in everyday life.